When we think about a pilot getting ready for a flight, we picture them checking the engines, the wings, all the complex machinery. But what if I told you the single most critical pre-flight check has absolutely nothing to do with the airplane? It's a check the pilot does on themselves. And honestly, it's a masterclass in self-awareness that every single one of us can learn from. Let's get into it.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. This isn't about feeling a little tired or a bit stressed out. In the world of aviation, a pilot's internal state is taken as seriously as a full-blown mechanical failure. The stakes are just so high, and let's face it, the human element is always the most unpredictable part of any flight.
So before a pilot even lays a hand on the controls, they have to go through this formal, structured self-assessment. It's this mandatory gut check to answer one really simple but incredibly important question. Am I actually fit to fly right now?
And that's really the whole idea, isn't it? The pilot is the first and the last line of defense. You can have all the amazing technology and automation in the world, but if the person in charge isn't at their absolute best, that whole system of safety is at risk. It all starts and ends with personal responsibility. Now, this isn't just some casual, hey, how am I feeling moment. Oh no, this is a standardized protocol recognized by the FAA. It's a mental checklist that gives real structure to that self-assessment, and it's known by a simple, easy-to-remember acronym, IMSAFE.
And here it is, IMSAFE. That stands for illness, medication, stress, alcohol, fatigue, emotion, or eating. Every single letter represents a critical question the pilot has to answer honestly before they can even think about taking off. So let's break down what each of these really means. All right, let's dive in and see exactly what pilots are looking for with each letter, and why something that seems super small can actually be a huge red flag. First up, I is for illness. And what's so important here is how seriously they take even minor sicknesses. A simple head cold on the ground, well, that can turn into excruciating pain in the air. As the plane climbs or descends, that pressure change can wreak havoc on blocked sinuses or ears. It can cause terrible pain, even disorientation, which is the absolute last thing you want when you need total focus. It's kind of like trying to give the most important presentation of your life while you're battling the flu. It just doesn't work. Your performance is shot.
Next, M for medication. And this isn't just about serious prescriptions. We're talking about really common over-the-counter stuff. Think about it. Even a basic cold medicine can have side effects like drowsiness or dizziness. For you and me, that's an inconvenience. For a pilot, it's completely disqualifying. It's the same reason the back of a cough syrup bottle says not to operate heavy machinery, and a 300-ton aircraft is pretty much the heaviest machinery there is.
Okay, now for S and F, stress and fatigue. A lot of people lump these two together, but in aviation, they are very distinct. You see, there can actually be good stress, that kind of motivating pressure you feel when you're gearing up for a big challenge. But here's the critical point. There is no such thing as good fatigue. None. Fatigue is always a bad thing. It degrades performance, it kills your alertness, and it's one of the sneakiest dangers in a cockpit.
Next up, A for alcohol. This one seems pretty obvious, right? I mean, of course we don't want a pilot who's been drinking, but the rules are way stricter than you probably think. It goes far beyond just being sober when you get on the plane. We'll get to the specifics on that in just a bit.
And finally, we have E, which stands for emotion and eating. This last check covers two really vital areas. First, are you emotionally stable? Going through a major personal issue or feeling super anxious can be a huge, dangerous distraction. And just as important, have you eaten? Seriously, low blood sugar from skipping a meal can directly mess with your judgment. It's about recognizing that trying to make a huge life decision when you're furious or trying to close a deal when you're starving, it's just as risky as flying impaired.
Okay, so that's the day-to-day check. But what happens when the situation itself adds a whole other layer of risk? What happens when the stakes get even higher?
Let's take a perfect example, flying at night. This is where a really tough IMSAFE check becomes absolutely non-negotiable, because the darkness itself brings a whole new set of challenges to the table. I mean, the risks just multiply at night. You've got reduced visibility, obviously. You have a much higher chance of experiencing visual illusions and spatial disorientation. Your body is naturally more tired. And on top of all that, you have this dangerous psychological pressure that pilots call get-there-itis, that intense desire to finish the flight no matter what. Any one of those things is bad enough, but they're all made way worse if the pilot isn't 100% sharp.
So here's the thing. This isn't just a lesson for pilots. The discipline behind this whole IMSAFE checklist is a powerful model for literally anyone doing anything important.
Whether you're a surgeon in an operating room, a trader making a huge financial decision, or heck, even just having a really difficult conversation. Let's circle back to that alcohol rule for a second. The official FAA rule is a minimum of 8 hours from bottle to throttle. But what's really telling is that a lot of professional pilots have a personal rule of 24 hours. They do it just to be absolutely certain there are no lingering effects whatsoever on their judgment or vision. It's a perfect example of setting your own personal standard that's even higher than the official one.
And this quote, this really says it all. This is the whole philosophy in a nutshell. It's a simple yes or no decision. There's no, well, I'm out about 90% today, so I'll just be extra careful. Nope. If the answer to any part of that IMSAFE check is a no, the decision is already made. The flight is a no-go. Period.
And this is the big takeaway for all of us. The real power of the IMSAFE checklist is the habit of disciplined, honest self-assessment. It's about creating that deliberate pause to actually check in with yourself before you commit to something important that requires you to be at your best.
So, that leaves us with one final question to think about. In your life, in your job, what are the high-stakes tasks you do? And more importantly, what's your personal IMSAFE checklist? What are those non-negotiable conditions you have to meet before you decide that you're truly ready to go?